All right. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. So let me turn these lights off because they're always kind of weirdly. There. Um, all right. So I am here today, but Mr. Pittman, I talked with him, and he's going to take attendance here for me. And what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at starting to create something for teachers. So I call this my school improvement project. And what it does is, and what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at how do we improve our school. And one simple way to me is just by printing stuff and, of course, putting them up. I talked a little bit about this the other day. I showed you an example of the cornhole boards or beanbag boards. Here's an example of one that I created. Again, Raiders fan, so you can see what I made there. And that's what we're going to do is you are going to pick a teacher, and this is everyone in the class. Each person is going to pick one teacher. So don't go, oh, can we both do this person? Nope. I can only do one teacher per person. Now, if you finish and you want to help another teacher, I'm fine with that. There's more than enough for a couple of people. And this is what we're going to be doing for a couple of weeks because my goal is if you guys are back, then we can start doing it and printing here, which would be awesome. And we can start putting them up and making the measurements. And I can help with all of that. Now, one thing you want to think of is you're new to Photoshop. So some of you are further along than others. I wish we had a little more time, but at least we can start it now. You can bring pictures in, you can change it. And ultimately, you have to make this for the teacher, okay? The way they want it. And one thing you want to think about is what questions are you going to ask them is, first of all, where do you want it? That is the first question is what I would ask. And what you're going to do is you're going to email the teachers. Now, I have a list of teachers, and I'll go through this here right now that signed up. So, for example, Kim Redunz, I know, wants a window cling. So questions you're going to have to ask for a window cling. Do you want it to travel the whole window or part of it? And if they do want part, what's the size? So, for example, you can see here's my window cling. I cut mine off there. Can you go the whole length? Yes, Mr. Pittman has the whole length one. Do they want it inside looking in? Do they want one out? We'll just do one per now, and then if we got more time, we can do more. Don't worry about this distance. I will give you that one because all the windows in those skinny little windows are exactly the same. Okay? Now, if I go down here, we have Miss Gagne, Tracy Artner in the office, Mr. Andries, Mr. Gramman, Mr. Call, which Mr. Call and Toops, and I know this, if they have two windows in their office they want something on, and I have those dimensions, and I'll get that to that person, but you can, and I'll go through a series of questions. The resource room, which would be, you're going to email Mary Jansen, because she's going to be the one. Mr. Bowman, Sarah Underhill wants the entire art room door, okay? So can we do that? Yeah, we could wrap that. It's not going to be in cling, but we're going to use a decal. So if you've seen Mrs. Taxes or something along that line. So if that interests you, we can have a conversation. Tracy Voigt just wants, it's a pretty small little window, and she'll give you ideas. Mr. Paulson, I believe, has the windows, I don't have them anymore, but the windows above on top, like Miss Patrick's. He has an idea. Mr. Weber has his window. And you can email him, Mr. Kimmen, Mrs. Kimmen, Mr. Burnt Dryer, Miss Beckers. We'll talk about that one. That one, don't anyone email her yet. That's something I thought about. Miss Locke, someone please pick Miss Locke. She's been on here 2 years and I haven't got her one. Mrs. Patrick, comment, and then Toops windows will be the same, and then Mrs. McNelly. So that's the group of people that said, yeah, can you make something to put on? So what you're going to do is I'm going to have this document on Google Classroom. You are going to open this document and you're going to write your name if you choose that person. Okay? First come, first serve. Okay? So for example, let's say I pick Kim Redunz. and I type my name. Do not erase the person's name if it was on there. I'll be able to look through how it was edited. Also, once you've picked one, you then have the responsibility, okay? And you are the person, you are the engineer of that for that. And what I mean is, if the teacher's not happy with it, you go back to the drawing board and make it. Sometimes I've had people redo stuff 10 times. Now, some teachers are very specific. Some teachers are like, whatever, okay? Before you get done with anything, let's say you go through and you finish this. The number one thing is making sure the teacher likes it. You always send them a final proof and say, this is the final product, how does it look? And they're either going to say yes, no, or change this, okay? The other thing is when you're pulling pictures off the internet or wherever you're getting pictures, make sure you choose large ones that are not pixelated. If you walk around, I think Mrs. Patrick has one up, it's terrible because the background is all fuzzy. And I told the student, but they didn't listen. And I hate putting stuff up like that because I believe that reflects my entire class. I like to put up nice quality things, okay? So questions you're going to ask a teacher. You're going to email a teacher. So once you have it, I want you to get on there and say, hey, I'm so-and-so from 3D Print and Design. I would love to design whatever it is, window cling or decal or whatever you're doing for your classroom. What ideas do you have? Okay, and just don't go put it in the subject line. It's got to be more professional. And I can even come up with maybe a series of questions so we can kind of get an idea. Because first thing you're gonna have to know: do you want the length? Do you want it whole as wide? You have to ask all those questions. Okay. I want you to create something that is exactly what they want. There's nothing worse than ordering something online and it shows up and you're like, oh, that is nothing what I was talking about. Same thing here. I don't want us to be putting up that day and they're like, oh, that does not look good. That to me is not an option, okay? You want to make sure that you are covering that you are making a quality product, okay? And ultimately, hopefully when you guys are back here, we can print them and hang them. And you can help me do that. They're relatively easy to hang. They don't stick. You put water on them and then you squeegee the water off, basically. It's pretty simple. So those are things to think about, okay? Teacher you want to do. Once you do that, email them. And we'll get dimensions, okay? So relatively today is going to be a really short thing. Now, by the time you get done watching this, hopefully I'm popping on because I'll be giving blood. And as I pop on, please think of some questions. I think I might even create a general questionnaire and we can come up with the questions. Because the more specific the questions are, the better idea we get what they want. Now, this might take multiple emails, okay? You cannot just email a teacher once and go, done. Well, no, okay? The goal of this is to have that communication. Okay, if this was a typical client, in some of you are going to have jobs someday, working with people, how do you make that customer happy? Exactly what they want. Okay, so please think about that now. And I'm going to give you time in class, and then so if people have questions, I can answer them and all that, and I'll explain how you'll send it to me and all this. Okay, so with that. After you're done watching this, log back into the Google Meet because I'll be on there and I can talk to you about a couple things. Okay? All right.